Anyway, we welcome Queensland listeners right now, listening right across the SEN network through Brisbane, the Gold Coast, the Racing Network, and the reason we do that is because the GOAT is in the house. Cameron Smith, who's about to solve the world's problems in terms of rugby league, and also he's going to come up, unbeknownst to him, he's going to come up with a way to beat Penrith. We've had Gary of Newtown already on today. And for our new people tuned in, we might have to just recapture this. Cameron Smith, good morning to you.
Morning, fellas. Looking forward to this little segment, problem solving.
Well, Gary of Newtown on very early doors this morning, half an hour in, wasn't it, Brandy? He was on before 6:30. So he was up early and he had the plan. He said there's one way to beat Penrith. You got to do these two things. That's exactly how he worded it. There's one way. You do these two things. One, get them thinking differently, and two, put them in two minds. Now, Cameron, I thought that two was the same as one, but then I thought that's part of the, confusion.
Yeah.
Do you buy into that, first of all? Is that part of your game plan? Because I've declared Penrith are winners of the premiership. It is theirs to lose.
You've called it already, Vossy.
Yep.
You're saying
to
that's
lose.
Really? Okay.
He's gone the early crow.
The best of everyone else does not beat the best of Penrith.
Brandy, how do you feel about that?
No, I don't like
Are you
the
comfortable?
early crow, Cameron. No, not comfortable. Lots of football to go.
Yeah.
Brisbane looking good. Melbourne Storm on the improve. Even though
I'm not saying who beats them. I'm asking you, boys. You're the expert. What beats Penrith? You can keep throwing up teams and say, well, they could. But what game? What do you bring to the table to beat Penrith?
Yeah. Well, you can't have the mindset that you're gonna outlast them or try and get them in an arm wrestle. You know, like you hear the term arm wrestle used in rugby league. So that's just what that means, is just going set for set with them and thinking that you're going to crack them first, like that they will break. That will not happen. They are the fittest team in the competition across the board, from 1 to 17. You could even say 1 to 20. They're top 20 players. They are the fittest footy side in the competition. So they're happy to defend consecutive sets on their try line, and then they'll just go up the other end, work their way through the set. Cleary will put a nice kick in, and they will tackle you inside your own 10-metre line. So you can't think that you're going to turn up against Penrith and outlast them in any shape or form. So you need to come up with, a different idea. And as Gaz said, try and put them in two minds. And you do that through, some different forms of using the football, making their defensive line move around rather than just trying to go one out or even just try to go through them, because they want you to do that. You need to come up with you need to break their game down and look at what they enjoy doing and do the complete opposite.
Can I just ask something about fitness? Why is it then that there is a side fitter than other sides? When teams, off-season training, I'm not going to, I don't know which clubs I'd pick out that I thought, they train as hard as anyone. Why is it then? Is it the individuals they have in their side, or is it what they do through an off-season and through the then season that keeps them at peak fitness? Why are they fitter than other teams?
I think there's probably a few reasons that make up why there are teams fitter than others, Brandy. And I think it comes down to your squad, so your individuals, and how hard they're willing to train and their capacity to build their fitness. Two, I think the standards that certain teams set within themselves, and there's an expectation to go out and train hard. And I got no doubt, every NRL team trains hard, but I'm sure there's others that just have higher standards than most. And one of those teams, in particular, Penrith.
Yeah, are you talking about, so the standards are set by, and we've spoken about this before, the senior players.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
The standards set by the senior players are higher than maybe the other teams in the competition.
Absolutely, and it starts with the head coach and your high performance guys. Okay, when you speak about when you first day of preseason, there's expectations set to everyone on the way the training standards are meant to be every day at training, and then they're upheld by the senior players and they're exercised by those players every day. So, no matter whether you're the most senior or the rookie in the squad, you look at those senior guys and the way they go about their business every day. And you think, well, that's the expectation. That's the way we all have to train. And there's no doubt that Penrith are leading the way in that aspect.
All right. Can I throw something at you? And this was from the NRL physio. Just to further to that, and we have highlighted this before, but this is no fluke. The NRL physio, Brian Senior, who I've had on the show a long time, is the best data collector around injuries and how injuries happen and how many weeks it takes for players to get back that we've ever had. So he's kept all the facts since the start of 2020. This is the Penrith golden era. Mm-hmm. Major injuries at clubs of players. That means players that have been out for 5 weeks or more.
Yep.
The Roosters have had 53 since the start of 2020. The Panthers are the premier club and have only had 19. Now, that can't be fluke.
No.
That can't be luck. It may be over one season that you go light on injuries, but over an extended period, like 3 to 4 years, and you have that, there's got to be something in the way they train, strength and conditioning, prehab, rehab. Has to be.
Well,
has to be. That cannot be a fluke, that number, that is so small compared to more than half the other clubs in the comp.
Yeah. There's no doubt that your training program or your regime has a huge part as to why you've been able to keep a healthy squad, particularly with your injury prevention sessions, like your prehab that you mentioned, Vossy. There's no doubt about that, but I've got to say that there's got to be some luck involved.
A little bit.
A little bit. There's a little bit of luck involved. And you need luck to be able to keep a squad healthy in a game such as ours. It's a brutal game. We all know that. It's high impact. It's played fast. They've got a lot of representative players that play a lot of football as well. But, they've just done it better. They've just done it better than the rest of the competition, and it's why they've been able to keep, that continuity in their side with very few major injuries, and they haven't had to make a lot of changes throughout their squad, and it's why they play such consistent football.
Morning, gents. Mitch from Oran Park says, I think Vossy's just worked out how to beat Penrith with the old commentator's curse by declaring them early winners. Well done, Vossy. I love it.
I can't pull them up. No, that won't pull them up. The commentator's curse will not pull Penrith up. It is theirs to lose. Wow. I declare it again.
You're just lumping it all on
my
shoulders.
lips.
The expectation.
Penrith 3 in a row.
There's the crow.
David says, and this is a good point, David said, Brandy and the GOAT and Vossy, I think Penrith are mentally the fittest team. They have mental strength and belief way beyond other teams, and that has a lot to do with it. Your mind pushes your body. Your mind tells you things to do things that sometimes other minds wouldn't. The body follows what you're thinking.
Yeah. There's no shortcuts to defence, and the defensive record is 12 points a season. 12 points a game this season. They are conceding. It's light years, ahead of most. So, now, Cameron, here's your next. So you're the problem solver today.
Okay.
The most experienced player in the history of Australian Premiership Rugby League. Mid-air tackles. What are we going to do? We've heard that they're going to do a review at the end of the season. Why not today, Cameron?
Yeah.
Why not have a look at what happened on Friday night and say, right, we've made an ass of this.
Well, what were your thoughts on it?
A dangerous tackle is a dangerous tackle. How can the game's rules defend that play?
Yeah.
Well, by the rules, Cameron, the referee's got it right, because once the ball bounces,
that's correct. Yep.
That part of the rule is removed. So mid-air tackles, dangerous tackle, that becomes a non-issue. So to the rules, the referee's got it right.
No, that's right.
And the referees are hamstrung by the rules as to making a determination what was clearly a dangerous tackle.
Yes.
But the fact that the ball bounced meant that the referee was hamstrung by that, by the wording of the rule. So we need to change the wording of the rule. And Vossy, you said it right at the top of the show this morning. You said that. Just tell us what you think should be written.
I've been saying it for 10 years, just in relation to mid-air tackles, when we had the ridiculous situation where it was against the attacker but not the defender, and or against the defender and not the attacker. Just leave it to the referee. The referee, they are experienced enough, Cameron, to decide what is and what isn't a dangerous tackle. I think it's a bigger disgrace when we penalise a bloke leaping for the ball, and because he gets there a fraction of a second off and grabs the catcher, we blow penalty against him. It's not a dangerous tackle.
No.
And yet here we have the other night, a dangerous tackle not ruled on. Just leave it to the refs. So there isn't a hard and fast rule that says every single mid-air tackle is dangerous. The referee decides that.
Yeah.
What would be wrong with that, changing the rule today?
Yeah, I don't mind that. And it's strange to think that, like, you're allowed to tackle someone in the air if the ball has touched the ground prior, but not when they're attempting to catch a ball on the full. It just doesn't make sense, does it? And to
Crazy.
say, like, the argument the other night to say that was okay, and Brandy, I'm with Brandy where that's in the rule book, so it's play on. But you can't tell me when you've looked at examples throughout this entire season, and even going into last year, where referees when they call out players to penalise them for some sort of foul play, and they use the term duty of care and dangerous position. You can't tell me. You can't tell me that.
Exactly, that's a good one.
You can't tell me that Ruben Garrick wasn't put in a dangerous position, and you can't tell me that there was a lack of duty of care by Nickel Klugstad in that instance.
So
he took his legs
today?
out. He took his legs out from underneath him, and look, there's no way that was intentional. He's just gone through and got it wrong, right?
No
He's
one
gone
said
through
was.
and got it wrong, but the risk of injury is high in that instance. So why? And we've seen, boys, many times this year and in previous seasons where a player is picked up in a tackle, and the referee described how he said when he landed, he took his legs out, but he landed on the flat of his back. We've seen people tackled in that instance where the defender stays in the tackle, dumps them on their back, and they're penalised for a dangerous throw. In the exact same position. Where I would argue that there's actually more control in those tackles where a defender stays connected to the guy with the football and takes him to the ground. Whereas in that instance, as soon as Ruben Garrick's legs were taken from out underneath him, who knows what was going to happen? It's lucky he landed that way.
Yeah, I think the rule needs an overhaul. It definitely does. It needs to be rewritten because we see so many penalties for non-dangerous tackles where they collide mid-air. One's going for the ball and he grabs the jersey of the player. That's not a dangerous
But Brandy,
tackle.
I'm saying today, do it today. Because remember, one of the biggest changes in the history of the game, and I know I harped on about this for a long time, the corner post rule was changed mid-season. From one round to the next, we changed a rule that had been in place since 1908. We went and changed the corner post rule. It wasn't at the end of the season. It was mid-season. We just went bang. Corner post is now, you contact it, you're not out. And why can't we change this mid? No. We've just done the review for them, Cameron.
Yep.
We've got our most experienced game. You just conducted the review. You went through. You highlighted what was wrong. Now change it today.
Yeah.
Done.
Brooksy's sending that to the NRL as we speak. John says, no surprise that Graham Annesley backs officials over the tackle on Garrick. But putting that to one side, here's another piece of it. More interesting if he or anyone else can explain why an injured player who initially secured possession is not allowed to let go of the ball on the ground as a consequence of the injury. Because we see it. Now, he's brought up the example of Jaden Campbell, who went down, sidestep, no foul play, no player touched him, really. And I don't think Jaden Campbell let go of the ball, though.
Did he let go of the ball? No, I didn't. Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think so.
But is that an excuse? Is there a player, when injured, is he allowed, even if it's not foul play, and because the way the rule's written, it wasn't foul play, is he allowed to let go of the ball? That's what was ruled on. He knocked on because he let go of the ball.
Well, I say, the ball is lost. There can't be, but the referee would then rule if it's a penalty. You don't know it's foul play until they make the decision.
That's right,
they would get the ball back because they would get the penalty.
I'm not saying that Garrick let go of the ball because he thought he might get a penalty. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that happened. I think he let go of the ball because he was in so much pain. Like it winded, he took the air out of him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I originally said, well, you shouldn't let go of the ball at all.
No.
Don't let go of it, even if you're in pain.
Yes.
You got the ball.
Agree.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, agree.
Now, during the show this morning, too, we are also talking all sorts of sport, a lot of football, but we've got Brooksy. We've sent him over to Ohio. He is actually at the final in Connecticut between Djokovic and Alcaraz. This incredible rivalry. Just to remember, Djokovic is 36. Alcaraz is, 20? And this Alcaraz is just incredible. Replay of the Wimbledon final. Let's cross to Cincinnati right now with sound effects full up. Let's go. Brooksy, come in.
Gents, it's all coming up Spain this weekend. Alcaraz, he's up 4-3 on serve. Wait, actually, it sounds like Novak's blowing up at a call here.
How can you possibly call that out?
Drama?
Walking over, everyone knows it's in this whole
Oh,
stadium.
he's taken a leaf out of
and
John
you call it
McEnroe's
out?
book, hasn't he?
Yeah. His accent's changed.
Yeah, so it's 15 love. Alcaraz has just won that point. He's up 4-3 on serve, so he's broken him early. It could be straight sets here for Alcaraz.
He sounds quite
now
He
we're gonna
sounds
text
quite
you.
American now.
He
Yeah, he
does.
does.
Yeah,
Novak.
He's well travelled.
What he needs to do, Novak, is get himself to Budapest. Ask Cam if
Yeah, sure.
yeah, got a text here for Cameron.
Yes.
Was there ever an 8-tackle set while he was refereeing? Have you ever,
Have
you ever-
We got to move on
Did
from
you-
this Cameron, the referee.
did you
stuff.
ever
Come
lose
on.
count of the tackle count?
Yeah, did you ever
while
lose
you were
count
in
of the tackle?
control?
To play,
Brandy,
did
never,
you count
never.
tackles, Cameron?
Absolutely. Always knew how many. Yep. No,
I
there was
called a
never an
game-
8-tackle set.
I called a game only last week or the week before where Cameron Munster checked a tackle count. And he checked that it was 3. He was 15 metres out from the line. Cameron, would you know the tackle count? Run a
Yeah.
play?
Yes, I did.
Always?
Yes. Yeah, always counted in my
Wow.
head. Yeah. Munster wouldn't know. He'd never know. Ever. That's why he checked.
Right.
There's not a lot
right.
going
Okay,
on
so
upstairs with Cameron Munster.
Now solve the world problems. How are we going to come up with a system? It's been suggested by the Kingswood Welder on our text line today. We gave him a prize. We have animal noises for each tackle. So, you go duck quacking 0, pig oinking 1, dog barking 2, sheep barring 3. Now, that system would actually work, as crazy as it sounds, but we're not going there, probably.
No.
What can we do to get this right between there's a ref, there's 2 touch judges, there's a bunker official, there's another standby bunker official at the game. Surely someone else could have the job of keeping the tackles, and we can't make a mistake in that area, can we? Please.
Do we actually need another person? Like, seriously, we've got that many officials at the game. Surely, if the referee's got plenty to look at, right? He's got more to look at now than they've ever had to
And
keep
only
an eye
one.
on.
There's only one ref.
And only one. Surely a touch judge can. Surely
Yeah,
a touch judge,
a touch
or like
both of
someone sitting
I
in.
don't know.
in-
They're pretty busy.
Someone
They're pretty
sitting in the
busy on
bunker?
the sideline. Those blokes.
They do.
Gee,
I'll tell you whose job has decreased. It's the touchies. They do
Well,
nothing.
I'm-
With
I'm-
all due
I'm
respect to the
giving-
touchies.
I'm with you. I'm giving the touchies the job of counting the tackles.
Yeah.
The touchies, not the bunker,
Yeah.
the touchies.
No,
Keep
touchies.
tackles.
Yep.
Do they still
They're
have
not doing
microphones in the flags? Like they go,
I think they do.
1,
Yeah, they-
2. Yeah, you got a little
they can
microphone in the
converse.
flag, do they? Like Maxwell Smart.
Is it
See,
in the
I'm
flag?
gonna
Is the
tell
mic
you-
in the flag? No.
Well, that's what
I
we've
think
just,
it is.
We're just tossing
Really?
it out there.
Yeah, I
It's
think
a
it
mic
is.
in the
yes.
flag.
Yeah, they communicate.
You've heard about my inglorious days as a cricket umpire, because I am never going to go
No,
heavy on a
please tell us
referee for
again.
miscounting a tackle count, because I swear I gave some 10-ball overs in my time. I mean, a wicket falls, and then another wicket falls, and before you know it, you've totally forgotten how many balls there were in the over. You wouldn't have a clue.
You sound like you
the
go-
clicker
you-
used to have little seeds in a hand and drop. Then you couldn't remember am I going left to right or right to left. And as I said, before you know it's a 10-ball over, and the scorer's shouting out trying to get your attention.
That's an unwritten
And
rule,
you say,
though.
"Oh,
If you get a wicket, you get an extra ball.
well, they got extra balls in my case. I mean, I must have been the worst umpire in history. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite if I bagged a referee for getting a tackle count wrong. I'm just trying to help them here come up with a
No, it
solution.
can happen. It can happen.
Yeah.
I've umpired too, Vossy, and it can happen. You lose track. 1991, we changed the interchange rule mid-season. We changed the corner post rule mid-season, and we changed in '93.
Well,
we changed the 5-metre rule mid-season.
You were part of both of
both
those
of those
years,
affect the game more.
Brandy. You were part of both
What
of those
did-
seasons, 91, 90, 93. Did that
Yep.
affect? Well, it didn't affect your
No,
91 season. You won it.
Someone told me that 91 it was unlimited interchange. I didn't believe it, but apparently it was early.